Hey everybody, welcome to your crypto chart update for October the 8th, 2017. This is where we analyze the latest charts in the cryptocurrency space using technical analysis. I'm your host Tim, and I'm a retail investor and a journalist. You can find my regular chart rundowns on tradingview.com or follow me on Twitter, both under the name BerlinTrader591. The goal of these videos is to analyze the trends and go through some trade ideas to help you broaden your understanding of technical analysis and make better trades so we can all make some money. As always, leave a comment below, send me a question, and give me your chart request to analyze. Today's video is brought to you by CryptoKing.org, which is a great source for the latest crypto news as well as these awesome videos. Please support me, guys, by using the affiliate links below to join my recommended brokers and wallets, because a little cut comes my way and it's a big help. And these are actually things that I use. I use Coinbase, I use GDAX, I use Coinigy, I use Trezor. I don't recommend things I haven't tried, and I wouldn't recommend something unless I thought it was actually a good product. So, much appreciated. Remember, guys, this analysis is for entertainment purposes only and does not endorse or advise any specific trade ideas. Please contact a financial advisor, a professional, before you make a trade. So without further ado, let's get into these entertaining charts. So, guys, starting with Bitcoin today, as always, because it's the big fish, it's the gold of cryptocurrencies, and what happens in Bitcoin is usually reflected in all of the alt currencies. What happens in Bitcoin is usually a signal for what's going to happen in the general market of cryptocurrencies. So if Bitcoin is doing well, then the other coins usually do even better. So you can leverage up, you can play the altcoins, the other cryptocurrencies, and make more return. But you have to be careful and watch Bitcoin. If Bitcoin starts to fall, then those altcoins usually lose steam pretty fast. But I wanted to show this clean chart today. I wanted to start with this price chart without any volume or moving average lines, because we can just see a beautiful pattern, right? Price is going from bottom left to top right. That's a clean uptrend. All the news and the naysayers out there saying that cryptocurrencies are a bubble and they're not going to amount to anything. Well, that's not what price says. And you know what? People make mistakes, but price doesn't lie. And right now, price is pushing up towards those old highs back at 5,000. The last few weeks has been pretty boring, to be honest. I've just said we're in a consolidation range. It's a great time to maybe accumulate some Bitcoin if you're thinking longer term. But right now, this week, things are starting to get interesting. We see a lot of patterns that are coming to completion. A lot of things we've been watching are acting the way we predicted, and that's a great sign, because that means we are on the right path. So let's add in the 200-day moving average to this chart, and we see that trend, that overall trend is up, and we are above the 200-day moving average, pretty cleanly staying above that, as we have been for the last couple of years. So until the momentum changes, there's no reason why the uptrend shouldn't stay intact. So we're in an overall uptrend. That means buying the dips. That means when there's a pullback, we're probably going to see a bounce. And until that changes, we keep going back to the well. Let's check out the volume. Another sign we can use. We had that big day on September 15th, that big green bar. Since then, volume has been light. If we look at the volume in the last 2 weeks, it's been well below average. This blue line here, well below average, especially compared to the summer months back in May, June, July, August. You know, the volume was much higher, double or triple the volume of the last few weeks. And I think that's really attributed to the fact that less people are trading, right? We had these big runs, people took some profits, and now a lot of people are waiting to see what happens. Yeah, I don't think people are running away from cryptocurrencies because they're scared. I think we have a lot of people that are going to enter when this price breaks out. So we need to be ready for that breakout, because there's a lot of money on the sidelines waiting to come in. as well as bigger financial firms like Goldman Sachs or JP Morgan setting up trading desks for Bitcoin, waiting to see what happens. We could see a big institution enter the market at some point, and that would be huge. But right now, we're focused on price. Let's get back to price. We have those 20 and 9 move EMAs, right? I use a 20 and a 9 EMA for short-term trading. And right now, we see prices also above the 20 and 9 EMA. And it's riding those higher. Look at that. We're riding that moving average higher. We're pushing up. Those moving average are pushing the price up. And that is healthy bullish behavior. So those just verify, confirm what we see in the price alone, the price itself, right? You don't need a million indicators to see where the price is going, but they help us take a quick glance to see where price is going without, we can take a quick glance at the 200-day and we know the trend is up. So, yeah, where is that breakout going to happen? Well, that's the big number that we've been watching, right? We've been watching. Here you see my annotations here, my drawings. We've been watching this box between 3,000 and 5,000. I haven't changed anything in the last few weeks, right? We've just been watching that consolidation range. Now, within that consolidation range, we have some crucial levels. We have the top 5,000, that's the all-time highs. We have the 3,000 lows reached back in September. And we have the 4,000 level, which is the halfway point, right? So if we're above that 4,000, as I said last time, that's a bullish sign. And look what happened, guys. We broke out above 4,000 a couple weeks ago. We've held that level, and now we've broken out above another intermediate level, this 4,500 level, another round number. And we see that a lot. When price breaks 4,000 or 4,500, we see jumps because that's a psychological level, right? There are not a lot of computers out there, or there are a lot of computers out there and a lot of people, but people program their computers and they program their systems for round numbers. So 4,500, that was an obvious level we needed to break. I put out a post on the 60-minute chart. The 60-minute chart, that's where I make my trades, right? I zoom in to see more crucial levels, a more microscopic view, and I make my trades based on that. And I put out a post. I said, if we get above this 4,480 level, or it was, I think, 4,400 level, then that's where you want to enter. And lo and behold, we've gone up now by 150 points. So making short-term trades on the 60-minute chart, I've pointed that out before. That's where I make my short-term trades. But we want to compare that with the daily chart. We want to compare time frames. When time frames merge, when time frames confirm each other, that's a stronger signal than if you just watch the 15-minute chart or the 60-minute chart or the daily chart. If you just watch those charts, then you're missing out on the more granular information. So daily, we're basically in an uptrend and we're pressing that 500 level. I think everything looks strong to break out of 5,000 at some point. Are we going to break out of 5,000 tomorrow? Probably not, right? We've come all the way from 3,000 in the last couple weeks. I certainly think we're going to hit 5,000. I've been playing this level from about 3,000, so I have some profits to take at 5,000. Probably a lot of other people have profits to take at 5,000. And so we're going to see a pullback there. And that's not unhealthy, right? That's a healthy thing when it goes to 5,000 and people take profits. I hope that we see a little pullback, but that we hold that 5,000, 4,500 level. We consolidate at the top of this box, and then we break out. If we see consolidation at the top of this box, we know that the bulls are in control. However, if we see a breakout tomorrow, I'm not really happy if we break out so soon because the range is extended. We've come from 3,000, and to break out after a couple of weeks is a pretty extended move. You know, the buyers are tired and exhausted, and we might then see a fail and fall back into that box. Now, a failed breakout is a really negative sign because you're back in the range, and a lot of people lose their confidence, and you might see a lot of news that Bitcoin failed, and it creates negative pressure. So we don't want to see a failed breakout. What we want to see is healthy consolidation under that range and then a surge above 5,000. Worst case scenario, we hit 5,000 and crash back down to 3,000. That would be a pretty weak sign, you know, to fall all the way back down and crash immediately after coming up from 3,000. I wouldn't like that, but it doesn't mean the game's over, because as you've seen back in May and June, we had this similar pattern, this other box, and we did crash down a couple of times before finally consolidating in the high range of that box and breaking out. I really hope we see an analogous pattern, right? So far, we're seeing a very similar pattern between these two boxes, right? We see a very similar pattern, and I think people are aware of that, and therefore the behavior repeats itself. So we're just observing behavior through the price and taking advantage of that behavior, right? We're like Finding Nemo. We're just, you know, riding the back of that turtle or whatever it was in that movie. So this is a really nice chart. And when Bitcoin looks good, other things also look good. So let's take a look at the other big players. Ethereum. You see my drawings on this chart, a prediction I made on TradingView. We have this beautiful, beautiful, beautiful consolidation triangle pattern, right? That's basically started in May, right? We came up to these highs, we came back down, we made a higher low, we came back up, same high again, right? I was posting for the first time on TradingView during that rise, and we rode it all the way up to the top. It was a really beautiful thing. Predictably, we came back down off those highs, and look at that, we made a higher low. Great uptrend sign, right? We're in an uptrend. Sorry, not an uptrend, but we are losing that selling pressure. At the same time, that moving average is coming up. And as I've said, when the moving average catches up with the price, that is usually a support level that the price bounces off of, because people are watching that 200-day. Programs are programmed for that 200-day. And it just also means that price is high and it stayed high and the long-term average is converging. So it means that price has strength. It has support. And you can see this pink line. That's my prediction. And so far, you know, we're kind of following that path. And I really hope the same thing happens as with Bitcoin. We bump up against that high and we consolidate and we break out. What's the news for that breakout? Well, it could be some kind of adoption by a company. It could be a new use for Ethereum, but whatever the news is, price is already telling us that momentum is strong and a breakout is more likely to happen than a crash. A crash could always happen, don't forget, but right now the price looks strong. Ripple is and I'm going to jump to Ripple because actually Ripple has been one of my favorite charts in the last few days. Guys, you know, a lot of these charts are just turning out to be really beautiful things. What can I say? I'm a big fan of the charts this week. I was very surprised to see how many of these plays are panning out the way we predicted. You know, usually you're not that lucky. We're only human. But here's another chart where we have a consolidation triangle pattern, right? Bouncing between these two converging lines. And right now, Ripple, you just feel it. It wants to break out. This is the third time, right? We've hit this level, the third time. And the third or the fourth time, that's where the breakout usually happens. The first time is a new high. The second time, it's not enough, right? There's not enough buyers. But the third or the fourth time, that's when buyers come in. And that's also where we see this 200-day moving average, same as with Ethereum, coming up to give price some support. We could pull back here, I think, and have a little mini crash, which would actually be healthy if it shakes out all the weak hands, and maybe we bounce from there. And if we have a shakeout and then a bounce, that's incredibly strong, right? Because it takes out all the weak hands, all the weak buyers, all the people with their stops, and then there's no more sellers left, right? Because everyone has sold who is scared, and now we only have buyers coming in. And when those buyers come in after a little mini crash, after a shakeout, those are like freaks on drugs. Those are intense. And if we break out from this range above, let's say, 26 cents, if we break out from this range, the fib levels tell us that our first stop will be those former highs at 43 cents. That's already like a 50% increase. And then the next stop is our 161.8 fib level based on the consolidation range from top to bottom, right? So 62 cents is the 161.8 fib retracement, and we often reach those levels. That 161 target is a very common target to reach. That would be more than double the price now. So we're talking a big move in Ripple is definitely in the cards if we break out. We could crash from here, of course, but based on the fact that Bitcoin looks strong, Ethereum looks strong, I think we're going to break out to the upside because cryptos will be once again in vogue and all these new buyers will come in. People that missed the last train and the train before that, you know, people who heard it from their friends, but you know, they bought a few coins, and now they're going to see those prices breaking out, and they're going to be excited, and we're going to see more people coming in. So that looks good. You know, a weak chart actually is Litecoin, one of the weaker charts. You know, I didn't like how Litecoin broke out of this channel, right? It broke out of this channel, and it hasn't recovered like Bitcoin or Ethereum. It's kind of come back up halfway and kind of stayed under that halfway mark, right? It's kind of held under that. If we can break above this little range here and get back into that channel, that would be incredibly healthy. And I think if the weakest coin, Litecoin at the moment, shows strength, then that is really good sign for the stronger coins. Remember that if the weakest stock or the weakest asset or the weakest cryptocurrency shows shows strength, then that means the stronger ones are going to be superheroes. So keep an eye on Litecoin, not for a trade because it doesn't really look nearly as good as the other charts, but keep an eye on it for strength. If it shows strength, that bodes very well for our other friends. Let's jump over to, let's see, PivX. That's the altcoin of my little pride and joy. I keep pounding the table about PivX. I know people are probably sick of hearing that about PivX, but I just want to show this chart because, you know, it kind of looks like Litecoin, except it didn't break down, and it's hovering near the top of its range, right? We have this channel once again since April, just calmly stepping up those stairs. The 200-day moving average is coming to meet the price just like on all the other charts, and I fully expect the same reaction to happen, an explosion above that channel. And PivX is just an altcoin that I like because it's acted strong, right? It didn't fall back like all the other altcoins, right? No, it held above this $3 level. That's just an incredibly strong sign when all the other coins were crashing. Volume-wise, let's check out the volume. You know, that's always important. How's the volume on this? Well, it's pretty low, right? About 1 million shares, 200,000 shares. Well, it's not horrible. For cryptos, it's not horrible. And so it has some liquidity issues, but it's not totally illiquid. So I like PivX. It's just a nice altcoin play. If you're going to play the more ICO altcoins, then, you know, play something that is strong. I like when we can see a pattern. I'm not going to jump into an ICO unless I believe in the company, right? Because there's really no way you can predict what's going to happen. And people who maybe make some money are going to get burned unless they're just playing the lottery. But if you don't have a pattern, you're basically just flipping a coin. Dash is our old friend. You know, this is actually my favorite functional coin. I use Dash in my daily life when I can. I just like the speed and the ease of Dash. Maybe it has some security issues or control issues, centralization, but you know, as an exchange, I like Dash. So I'm a fan, and it looks healthy. It looks like Bitcoin, right? We hit those highs, we pulled back. Now we're at the top of the range, hovering around the middle. If we can stay above the middle of this range, around 300, and if we can stay in this channel coming up from May, those would be very healthy signs. And if this 200-day can turn up a bit, then we have all this convergence of support in one place. Maybe it takes a few more days or a few weeks, but I don't see why we wouldn't break out of that 400 level. And if we break out of that 400 level, based on the fib retracement from August to September, we're going to see 500. That would be a nice little 50% increase from where we are now. So, you know, I love these cryptos. I mean, to see 50%, 100% moves in a few days or weeks, that is incredible. You are not going to see that in the future, I'm sure, when things stabilize. You know, but right now, it's a great time to be in the crypto space if you can detect these patterns. And what kind of patterns? Remember, we're looking at support and resistance. We're looking at trend lines. We're making channels where price bounces off the top and the bottom trend lines. And we're looking at price ranges between a high and a low, right? We're putting all these together, and we're trying to discover the behavior of a stock or a coin, right? They behave similarly. Humans behave the same, no matter where you are. You can apply this to your life. So, you know, I'm not going to go through all the other coins right now. There's Monero looks weak. It's just crashed through that. That's interesting. So Monero is a weak one. You know, we have that old resistance, right? And then we broke through it, which was great. But right here, we haven't been able to hold it. We've crashed through. So that's really a weak coin. And to be honest, look at this 200-day. It is moving up, but it's kind of wobbly. It's kind of flattening out now and then. Here it almost turned over. So, you know, these 200-day moving averages, you can just have a quick glance at those and you can already say, you know what, Monero looks kind of like a mess, right? It's not really trending in any direction, so I'm not really interested right now. I'll keep an eye on it, but I'm not going to trade a mess when I can trade a beautiful pattern like Bitcoin. Look how beautiful that is. It's totally different. Look at that. Totally different. Here's also Bitcoin, another Bitfinex, another exchange. But look at that 200-day. Just beautiful. And price is bouncing above it. You know, we look at Ripple, same thing. Right now it looks beautiful. That 200-day just coming up and caressing the bottom of that price, just right waiting to push it up and explode. You know, this is a beautiful thing. I love it right now. This is interesting, actually. Randomly, we come to Litecoin. This against Bitcoin. We'll finish with this chart. Litecoin against Bitcoin, right? We're seeing the strength of Litecoin against Bitcoin. Now, the 200-day is up, so automatically we know, you know, trend is up. But we do see this ominous pattern here for Litecoin. This, head and shoulders, which if that breaks, I mean, we could see downside cut that price in half. And that wouldn't be good for Litecoin. And that kind of goes along well with the other Litecoin chart, right? Against the dollar. We see Litecoin is one of the weaker plays. So we don't want to play the weak coins. We want to play the strong coins. That means Bitcoin, Ethereum, Ripple, and PivX if you want to have a kind of an alternative play. But sometimes Bitcoin is boring and it's not really interesting to trade because other coins are going nuts. But right now, Bitcoin and Ethereum and the big players, those are the ones that have beautiful charts. So stick with the beautiful charts, not the ugly charts. Sorry, ugly charts, but that's just how it is. So guys, hey, thank you so much. Please, again, sign up with my affiliate links, subscribe to my YouTube channel, leave me a comment, give me chart requests, follow me on TradingView as Berlin Trader 591. And happy trading. Peace.